welcome back to the Watchung Booksellers Podcast, where we bring you conversations from our bookstore's rich community of book professionals who talk about what they do for their love of books. If you are new to our podcast, thanks for joining us. I'm Catherine. I'm here with my co-producer, Marnie. Hey, Marnie.
Hello.
And today we are wrapping up our long and wonderful first season with some bookselling experts, our fabulous Kids Room staff.
Yep, and we are 31 episodes into the Watchung Booksellers Podcast, and we've explored so many topics about books, genres, promotion, editing, how to get published, and we are continually amazed with the talent in this community. But as we head into the holiday season, we thought it would be a good time to pause and recharge before we kick off another season in 2025.
That's right. And if you have not had a chance to listen to any of the previous 30 episodes, we encourage you to go back and catch any of those episodes you might have missed. And we may even add a bonus episode or two before we start season 2. So keep listening and keep an eye out for us. Meanwhile, let's talk books. Marnie, what are you reading these days?
I'm just getting ready to meet with the New York Times Best 100 Books of the 21st Century Book Club. We are meeting on Monday, December 2nd, and we'd love to have you. If you're a fast reader, you have a whole week to read it, and you can sign up on our website. We'd love to have you. How about you, Catherine?
I'm actually reading a galley for a book that's coming out in April. It's called Audition by Katie Kitamura, and it's about a middle-aged actress, and a man shows up and says that he is her son. And somehow this relationship ensues. So it's really interesting. Quick read. And then I'm also just making a list of all the books that I want for Christmas. Even though I work in a bookstore, I still love to get books given to me. But speaking of Christmas, today we have experts who can help guide you through your holiday shopping, especially if you are shopping for kids or young adults. Aubrey, Caroline, Evelyn, and Susie are our dedicated Kids Room staff, and they're here to talk not just about kids' books, but all the things we do in the Kids Room to make it such a fantastic extension of Watchung Booksellers and a great addition to the Montclair community.
Yeah, so let me introduce who they are. Aubrey Cece, who was with us way back in episode 4, is the Kids Room manager, children's book and gift buyer, and children's author event planner. She was born a creative with a love of everything, books and art. Her favorite color is lime green, and her creative touch shows all throughout the store. You'll almost never see her without a pair of Converse on her feet, and when you talk to her, she'll welcome you into a story about her family while she finds the perfect book for you and your child. She's passionate about children's mental health and LGBTQ plus issues.
Next, we have Caroline Shurtleff. Caroline is the school event coordinator and a bookseller in the Kids Room. She graduated from Baylor University with a degree in English literature. Caroline is a poetry editor at MAYDAY online magazine. Additionally, she writes and researches the show notes for the Watchung Booksellers podcast and is a co-host of the Watchung Booksellers Poetry series. Caroline grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex in Texas and now lives in New Jersey.
And Evelyn Moulton is a children's bookseller and the social media manager at Watchung Booksellers. She is a writer with a degree in English and creative writing from Montclair State University. Evelyn also handles the art and design and social media for the Watchung Booksellers podcast and co-hosted the Watchung Bookseller Poetry series. Evelyn grew up at the beach in Cape May, New Jersey, but always gets a sunburn. Evelyn lives in New Jersey with her partner and her cat, who both read everything she writes.
One smart cat. And last but not least, we have Susie Sonneborn. Susie is a native Chicagoan, an educator and bookseller with a passion for literacy and the arts. After several years in the field of arts management, she returned to school and earned a master's degree in education and social policy to pursue her passion for arts integrated education. Susie has almost 20 years' experience as a teacher and curriculum development specialist, integrating the arts into the core curriculum. She finds joy helping children develop their expressive voices and tap into their creative flow through improvisation and the arts. When Susie is not coordinating school book fairs or helping customers find their just right books, you can find her baking a tiny bit obsessively, enjoying nature with the big hat on, checking out cool art and performances, or just hanging out with her husband and 3 remarkable and delightful sons. It is rumored that Marcel Marceau and Second City's Tim Kaczynski shaped most of Susie's hopes and dreams.
Enjoy the conversation, and we'll be back after to fill you in on what's coming up in the store.
Hi, I'm Caroline. We're going to introduce ourselves first. I work at the kids' room at Watchung Booksellers, and I coordinate all of the author visits to schools.
I'm Susie, and I was the last of us to come to the kids' room. I came just in January of 24. I'm a former teacher of grade 4 and creative drama and integrating the arts into the core curriculum, and so I am specializing in 0 to 4 basically. That's my sweet spot. Oh, and also school book fairs.
And I'm Aubrey. I am the kids' room manager, and I also do gift ordering and children's events.
I'm Evelyn. I work at the kids' store. I'm a children's bookseller, and I'm also the social media manager, as discussed 2 weeks ago on this podcast.
Okay, so first we're going to talk about why it's important that we have a kids' store, what's cool about having a second location. I think it's really fun that the kids have a space that everything in there was created, intended for them, that they can shop on their own, almost explore like every facet of their reading journey in one place, and we get to like shepherd that, and that's really special to watch.
And one of the really neat things about the space is that, our original store is just about 3 doors away, and when the antique shop that had been in our space closed, Maddie, our current owner, and her mother, Margot, who had been the owner up until this past year, they sort of saw this as a big opportunity to take our little cozy children's space that was in the back of the store and like expand it. So it's like Eric Carle, and then the caterpillar came out and spread its wings, and it feels like a candy store of books. It's the prettiest place.
And it's super bright and fun and cheery, and I had a lot of fun making the pictures all around and doing some of the creative work in the
Aubrey
designs.
did so much to make it beautiful. Like it is a destination.
And the window displays are always changing and like make the space really magical.
And right now I'm doing a thankful project that I hope more people will help us with. I do that every year,
Tell us
so
what
look
it
out for
is.
it. So this year we're writing what we're thankful for on leaves, and I'm going to make garlands out of it. Last year we did hexagons, and I made a paper quilt with them.
Because she's a quilter, among other things.
Well, I'm an artist creator first, and then books came second, and now that's my latest obsession.
So I think we should also talk about another reason why we opened the kids' room was not just for kids, but it opened it up for our adult event space. And it gave us a lot more room for really everything for the store, which has also been great. Really open concept in there.
Yeah,
Everything's on wheels.
Yeah. Which is still a lot of work in the morning, but it's amazing. We can seat 100 tight, but we can.
Close-knit 100.
Yes.
Okay, and then we got to design a like unique programming schedule. So we can start with Monday. Monday we have baby toddler story time. We had that today. It's a Monday. Hello.
Yeah.
Which is always so fun. We usually have a lot of community volunteers, people from Montclair Speech Therapy, right across the street, now also upstairs, come in, read to a bunch of babies. Bubbles, songs, clapping. It's a fun.
It's a fun day when you're in there on a Monday, yeah.
It's very cute.
At 11 o'clock.
And then on Sundays, often we have our author story time, right, Aubrey?
So I try to plan pretty much every Sunday an author or illustrator to come in and share a book with us.
And Caroline and Evelyn have their small cult of middle readers.
Yes.
Oh, our book club.
Well, we'll start with author visits first, and then we can talk about book
Yeah.
club. Evelyn and I are often there on Sundays.
Every weekend.
So,
Yes, I'd pass it. I do part of the work and you do the rest. I hand it off.
It's a joint effort, but we get to witness all of the authors interacting with our store for the first time, which is always a hilarious endeavor.
Yeah, a lot of our favorite people have come. A few months ago, Kat Min, when Shadow and Ghost came out, we were really excited for her to come visit. And in the middle of her story time, something really great about being in an old building in Montclair is that when the wind blows, the power goes out. So in the middle of reading her story, the power cut out. And another local author, Jay Cooper, who illustrated Last Comics on Earth, also just happened to be in the store during story time. And they did shadow puppets together for the kids. And then Kat Min signed all of her books in the dark and ran home in the rain. But it was
also
so
so
fun.
fun.
It was like on purpose.
Yeah.
It worked. Yeah,
It
it worked out perfectly with the book.
And then last year, we have to tell the story. Boy, don't look at me like that. We have to tell this story because last year we were so excited around Halloween time. We were going to have the author of Addie and the Acrobats, Shauna Kagan, and
Which is the Destiny's Child of picture books.
oh, absolutely, because it's about 3 acrobats and one of them gets more famous than the others. She Beyonce's, and it's about friendship and keeping people that were in your life close. And so we were really excited about the book. And on that day, the author showed up and she had just broken her leg. So her dad drove her to the event and she's in cast but absolutely ready to read. And there's like loose underpinnings of disaster behind the scenes of like the bathroom kind of started gargling earlier that day, and we're just like trying to keep a tight smile. But after the event, it all went well. She had cute coloring sheets. We got our custom stickers.
It was my day off and I drove all the way down to meet Shauna Kagan and I missed the story time, but I was here for this.
And Evelyn, say what happened.
The toilet exploded, to put it lightly.
To put it lightly, I was talking to her while we were looking out the door, and we hear screams from the back of the store, and water starts pooling out. And I was supposed to say goodbye to her, and I just dropped the books I'm showing her and run to the bathroom. And my favorite part actually was one of our high schoolers was wearing like a set of like wide leg pants. And Margot, after we told her this story, was like, well, bad day for a wide leg. Because all the water was everywhere.
And Shauna was trapped in the store with her broken leg. She couldn't escape the water either.
As it was seeping in through the walls. Thankfully, it was just water. So that's the only thing that actually made contact with the store. But yeah, lots of fun. Don't shake your head, Susie.
And
you weren't there.
I managed to keep most of the cursing under wraps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aubrey
in the
was
echoey bathroom.
diligently throwing down towels and being very store appropriate.
I, unfortunately, in crisis, have to laugh. Like, I'm laughing and not super helpful, but...
Yeah. It was also my day off, so I just watched the water go.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than that, we love hosting our monthly
book club,
which is coming up this week as well. This month, we're reading Rooftoppers by Catherine Rundell.
It's really fun. We've been doing it for over a year now, and it's a middle reader book club. So 8 to 11. It's a great group of kids. We read a different book every month. We always joke that we write kind of insane questions to ask of 9-year-olds, but
college freshman type questions.
Yeah, and they're always really insightful, and sometimes they throw them back at us and they're like, well, this is an obvious answer. I don't even know why you asked that.
Oh, we get schooled by them.
I also love sitting and listening to them and seeing what they come up with.
It's so true, and I love the relationship that you've built. Like, these are kids who come and visit you all the time, and I just look at the way they want to connect with you and really feel like you guys are not only friends but kind of mentors and people they really look up to, and it's so sweet because you really do have a following that you've developed. But because of our space, like, we've been always thinking about like, what else should we do? But we do, like, it's so crazy to me. I never imagined, you know how like Liz Egan ages ago, like the first podcast was like, oh, I would love to be a bookseller, and it seems so fun, and then what you are just, it is boggling how much work goes into it behind the scenes.
Well, let's talk about how much work you're doing for book fairs.
Well, we are not
Susie.
a bookstore that we are sitting and reading behind the counter.
No,
That is
that'd
not
be
something
nice,
you
though.
often
It'd be
see.
fun. But like Aubrey could be doing so many like cool classes. It's really fun. Like, we have started now, you know, we're only in our 2nd year. And so we're really like nascent still, which is an exciting time to be together doing things, and we all care so much. But there's a lot of potential for like different mini camps. We've started to explore that a little bit. I want Aubrey to like yarn bomb our neighborhood. All of this incredible like squares and stuff that we haven't finished wrapping our column in the store yet. It's so cute, and people comment all the time. But then I see us taking over the neighborhood, and you know, there's all sorts of fun things.
Yeah, and you and Susie teaching improv and mime to all the children.
We are always integrating things and bringing it to.
Do you want to
like,
talk
books
about
are the hub.
your improv class and your history in miming?
Can you all see me doing it right now?
Perfect medium for
and
mine.
I broke the line so I could be speaking today. Yes. I have a background in improv in mine, but not really. Anyway, well, for that one, we used an adorable book by Remy Shurtleff. It's decades old, but awesome. Find it from us, buy it from us, called Fortunately, Unfortunately, and it's a great catalyst for improvisation. So we called that mini camp, Fortunately, Unfortunately, and then we did all sorts of stuff. But, it's so much fun. Like one of my favorite books, Ahoy, is really an improvisation work of art where this kid is wagging the dad all around, like really driving the story forward through imaginative play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole thing. Like at our store, we each have all these cool things we love, and somebody will walk up to another coworker and just hand them a book and wait and watch. And because they're picture books, we can read it that quickly. That day. And like Caroline always knows how to make me cry. And then when I start to sob, she's like,
Yeah, absolutely. I were crying constantly at the kids' room desk.
What was that book we read the other day? The three of us read it, and all of us were behind the desk crying. It's The Tiger Tale.
The Tiger.
Oh,
what is
yes.
that called?
No, it's a Levine Carrito book. I forgot the tiger.
It's the dandelion on the cover.
Oh, you guys, it's so beautiful.
Or I still remember the day that I read Maybe Tomorrow and just was like, that's not okay what she did to me.
The Legend of Tiger and Tailflower.
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
There's
I tell people when I hand sell it, I'm like, or when I see somebody just grab it even themselves, I'm like, warning, it's going to make you cry, but your child will be fine.
That's amazing. Do you want to talk about book fairs?
Yes. Book fairs. So we have gone deeper and deeper. We're wading in. So there's like a really, really big company that does normally a lot of schools in the country's book fairs. And so for us as this tiny independent bookseller to be venturing in is really exciting and super labor intensive, but fantastic because, one of the things about Watchung Books that anybody who listens to this podcast normally knows is that we are founded upon the principle of everyone feeling represented within our store and everyone feeling seen. And we get really excited because people will come in with the most specific requests. They have a problem. They want to share a story that's going to help, somebody feel better or feel recognized or understood, or to help them navigate a difficult time, and we can find it. Or even to represent them culturally or socially or in the changes that are going on in their identity, and it's a really exciting thing, and we can bring that to our book fairs as well. And so I love the diversity of what we bring and the joyfulness, because it doesn't have to be a lecture, it doesn't have to be from on high. There's so much rich literature out there, and because we're not a big box store, our passion is finding it and sharing it with other people. And we get to do that.
We get to be like a living archive of what will spark someone's imagination. And that's what's really special to watch every day.
Yeah.
Aubrey's really good at finding a very specific book on if a child is encountering mean kids at school or moving away or something, she's always finding the exact right title, looking it up.
Mental health, everybody has their expertise, and especially as the last person to join our team, in the beginning, I was like, whoa, and I just didn't hesitate to reach out to you guys. So I love being a shop girl. I was really excited to be interacting with customers, but as far as being able to help them find the just right book, I wasn't always myself knowing enough about our inventory yet. And I would ask you guys, I would say, hey, this customer's looking for, and it was so much fun to watch your wheels turning, and you would all nail it. And I feel like that's our superpower as a team.
That's something.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, that's something that I still do when any of you are helping a customer. I listen to your suggestions, why you're possibly pulling the different books, and then I have that new knowledge. Now I'm able to, a book that I don't know anything about, I now know a little bit more because of you, and I'm able to then give it to the right person that needs it.
Totally.
I love the different phases we go through in hand selling too, because a really early favorite of mine was Simon and the Better Bone by Corey Tabor.
Oh, Susie would love it.
And because it was dog. here's dog book, and it's upside down, and it's cool, and the dog thinks it's playing with itself, looking in the lake at its own shadow, and it's really cute. But at first I was like, anyone would like this, here's dog. Like, and then later on, like, when I'm looking at the picture bookshelf, I can see the different phases of, like, I used to be obsessed with that, I used to be obsessed with that, still am, still love those books, but you can pull from those phases for different customers.
Also, because of this, now our picture bookshelf is just a year's worth of, this is the book that I loved, and it's, like, fantastic books that we were obsessed with for a month at a time.
Do you ever get like bottlenecked? Sometimes somebody will say, they'll give me like, instead of a really like hyper, challenging great query, they'll just say, what do you suggest? And usually like that should be like so easy. Yay, I get to hand sell all my most passionate, loves on these shelves. And other times my head almost explodes and I'm like, oh my God.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Sometimes even I get overwhelmed with the amount of books that are on the shelf, and I forget when you're looking at the spines, you're like, wait, what is that book about? Wait a minute, what am I looking for? Who am I? What am I doing?
And the other fun thing is, because our shelves, they're like, sometimes they wax and they wane, and we're constantly like trying to get things not too tight, and we're shifting them in their little like kind of cubby type shelves. They're huge shelves, but then they're partitioned. And so I'll see one of you like reaching your fingers, tingling upper left corner. Like, I know Beatrice Alemania is up here somewhere, but I can't remember her last name.
I'm always looking for a book, and I'm like, emotionally, I think it's on this shelf. I want to ask, what's everyone's ideal customer? Like, someone coming in asking for, what's your favorite thing to hand sell? Do you want to sell a middle reader? Do you want to sell a word book? What are you trying to sell?
Evelyn, what about you?
Oh no. I think I go back and forth between picture book and middle reader. Doing the middle reader book club helps because I do just hand sell our book club books because they're great picks. But actually, I think that early chapter is always really fun because it's just when kids start reading on their own. So it's really driven by them finding out what they like for the first time, and they're always the pickiest customers. Because the second you give them a book that you think is going to be perfect, and they'll be like, I don't like it. I don't like the look of Mercy Watson. Put her back on the shelf.
See it in her eyes.
They're tough.
They're tough. But then when you finally find the right book for them, they get so excited. And then they're done talking to you because they want to read it. So they leave.
And then you've really started something.
Yeah.
And it's such a weird category. It's like Little Shrew is in that category. The French one.
A Day with Moose. Those are my two favorites.
Explain the early chapter business. What is that?
What do you mean?
Like if somebody's like, I don't know.
Oh, I guess we should clarify like the levels of the
Describe
store.
The layout. It's so cool.
So the store it's kind of in age order. So if you walk in from the left-hand corner all the way around back to the register, it just goes in age order. So it starts at board books, which is for -1 to 2. And then it goes into picture books, which is until 5. Early chapter or first readers, early readers, so many different names, is like 5 to 7. Then it goes around to middle reader, 8 to 10. YA, we only go up to 13 at our store, and then the rest of it is there. But we have the Hunger Games. So
fun fact, we have to like make these decisions about what YA, young adult thing, material we keep in our store. And I kind of feel like we want this to be a safe place for everyone. Want everything to be represented. We don't like censor reality, but like kind of like explicit sexual acts, for example. We're like, let's get out to 54. We were looking at the Judy Blume Forever book the other day, and we're like, 54? Because we're 44 Fairfield, and our mothership is, or the adult bookstore, is 54.
Which is why they have all those books.
You just emphasize every syllable. Aubrey, what's your favorite section to sell from?
It might be picture books because I think that's the easiest for me. I can read so many of them, and I have more of them in my brain at a time. But I do try and read a lot of middle reader, especially LGBTQ, because I love being able to help kids coming in when they're specifically looking for something like that. I do read a lot of middle reader and YA for that reason.
And I like the youngest readers. I like because I switched careers from teaching 4th grade and teaching all this enrichment for, maybe 4th to 8th graders. When I came here, it was partly because I really wanted to be a shop girl. And
Meg
I
Ryan.
still.
I was waiting for you to make that joke.
And I also wanted.
Susie kind of looks like Meg Ryan.
Oh,
Wait.
And so I really like to support emerging readers. Like, that's my passion. And so I love helping people with our spinner, which is like, you know, the first readers that a lot of people listening even know, those really like slender, small paperbacks. And they're leveled. They're like 1, 2, 3, 4. But why? And what does it all mean? And so I've been kind of doing a deep dive of understanding why these readers that are so hard to decode to actually read as an early reader would be called a level 1 and stuff like that. So it's been really fun to kind of wear different hats. So I really love helping emerging readers and their families, and to keep them keep it light. But I also really love, I wasn't joking about like 0 to 4. I love helping people find, like, you know, at 2, you know, they really want to be like interacting with those books. Look at all these cool interactive shelves, you know, and this and that, and the deep dives of looking inside and learning more and more and more. It's fun.
I think concept, actually. I'm going to add concept to my
I
and
forgot to mention
and when
concept.
when I'm buying, I probably overbuy a little bit in
But it
concept
makes
because
me so proud. It's such a good
I know
selection. Thank you,
I literally try to think of any situation that somebody's coming in for,
And then we have it.
our grief section has exploded. Our school.
Can you explain what
The
the
concept.
concept shelf
Yes,
is?
so concept is they're still picture books or board books, but they're focusing in on a specific topic such as grief, emotions, school, moving, even potty training. You know, those are all different concepts. So
Things that go, numbers,
Yeah.
letters, colors,
yeah,
but, you know,
But-
gender,
yeah.
race. I mean, there's a lot of substance, and it's board book on up.
Yeah.
You know, and some of them are fiction and some are nonfiction, and a lot of them are like really a great read, and maybe more of like a metaphor, and other ones are straight on. But I buy a little bit, but I like just like maybe something that I'm passionate about, and it's very nice that we're all allowed to place orders for our inventory. But is it you two? Is it Evelyn and Aubrey? Are you guys buying the most?
And Caroline.
3 of us split
Yeah.
front
Yeah.
list together.
What do you guys each specialize in?
We specialize by publisher.
Mm-hmm.
But you stole my answer because I was also gonna say board book. I love walking over to the the interactive shelf and just like moving a page side to side, being like, it's sold.
They're like, oh.
My favorite book to sell is no longer in print, but it was called Bear and Mouse. So we all have a swan song to Bear and Mouse.
We have
Penguin,
a
I'm coming for you.
call to action that they need to put it back in
This
print.
is the real reason I'm here.
Shout out the author.
We sold 1 copy a week for a full year of Bear and Mouse
53
Rise and
copies,
Shine.
And then she died. Yeah,
And they stopped.
yeah.
Mhm.
But it was amazing. It was about a bear and a mouse, and you could do a slide pull, popping up the toast. Then the next page was like putting on their coat. They end up at the park. It's really emotional story for me. I don't know if I can talk about it anymore, but
And that's so nice that there's so many books that are a hug.
yeah.
Right?
Well,
so many hugs in those pages. It's awesome.
What is everybody's favorite book to hand sell right now? Does somebody want to go first?
Well, everyone will probably know mine. Aubrey's is 100 Dragons Named Broccoli. Everyone has already probably
Yes.
bought that book, so I need to find a new one. But when it came out, it was just so fun. It was bright and colorful, and it had numbers, and it's kind of counting, but not really counting. It was just silly, and so it just felt really fun, and it was just, you know, easy to give to people. But I also have a soft spot for Oliver Jeffers books. Everyone knows that too.
Yes.
The Great Paper Caper.
We had it on audiobook with my kids, and it was read in a British accent. So my tip is to read it in a British accent, and it's even better.
Every time I try to hand sell Oliver Jeffers, in the back of my head I go, Aubrey had the Great Paper Caper on audiobook.
That's right.
Well, my current favorite book is actually the same illustrator as 100 Mighty Dragons, Pigtown Party,
So good.
which is fantastic, and I love it. And it is the funniest book. I was laughing out loud by myself in picture books. It was amazing.
I'm always laughing if I'm not crying.
What's yours?
I think mine is when I surprise myself at the picture bookshelf. Like when I'm surprised, I can sell like Paul and Antoinette by Kara Scoet. And I'm like talking about how it's about domestic labor disputes and that works. And
That paired with the red hen.
the red hen, or telling stories wrong, or something where it's a very grandiose idea that they can get sold on quickly. We just had B. Johnson in the store for story time. What Can a Mess Make was really, really sweet.
I love that story so much.
Yeah, I like something that I've kind of forgotten that I've loved to hand sell again. I also did an author visit with X Fang, who wrote Dim Sum Palace and We Are Definitely Human. We were really, really, really into We Are Definitely Human, and it's probably the easiest hand sell in the world. It's
So much
just what if aliens came to Earth and disguised themselves as European, and you're done. Like, it's sold.
You have to
it's
see it.
fluorescent.
You have to see it to see the humor. It is very fluorescent and it's so funny. And tell what Susan or X Fang told you. What it's
Yeah, she was telling me how, like, basically, which I didn't understand at first, but, like, the language I recognized immediately as, like, really Southern. She's using y'all a lot in the book. And she's like, actually, it's a book about Southern hospitality and, like, the concept of, like, caring for your neighbors and kindness as, like, an act. So, yeah, I thought that was really fun.
I love that. And we had fun fact because Caroline takes care of all of the school author visits. So she coordinates everything, from A to Z for that. And so Aubrey says to me, hey, did you know that the X Thing We Are Definitely Human is out of print? Or not out of print, like it's run out.
It's
like
being reprinted.
And
Yeah.
we just were like, Caroline, you might wanna. And so you were like scrambling to get enough, like just for the visit. So
I had
if
to call the
anyone out
Penguin.
there is looking for it, Caroline got every single last copy.
I had to freeze the Penguin warehouse.
And we
I was
said,
in there.
we were like, we'll take all of them, no matter how many, we want them all. Because it's our.
And then we hoarded them all
Yeah.
for our staff signings, and then we took them all. And nobody got any. No, not really.
No, everybody got it. Everyone's happy. And we're happy for her. It's exciting to help, shine a spotlight on different authors. And so one of the things though, I think we're all trying to constantly change what we're hand selling. Because I don't know about you, but when I started here, I was amazed that every Tuesday there are new releases. There is so much literature constantly being published and released. And I am rarely wondering how it got published or why this one was chosen. It's like there's a lot of great stuff constantly coming out there.
Yeah.
And then people are a little miffed if you don't have their favorite thing from 50 years ago and you're trying to mathematically explain to them like how,
Yeah, I know. We already have thousands of books in the store, so how can we carry everything? But we
order.
try. We try
Really
to
quickly.
have something for everybody.
Yeah, within a week.
That was one of my favorite things about the original move last year, when we emptied out the back of 54 and came to the new location and we filled every shelf with all of the books that were back there somehow. And that first week people came in, they were like, where did all these books come from?
Yeah.
How do you have so many books already?
It's amazing. It's like moving from a studio apartment into like an old Victorian and
I didn't know I owned this much
so
stuff.
much crap.
Well, and then we filled it with lots of new wonderful gifts.
Oh, so pretty.
Well, we've also added extra shelves since we've opened too, so we had more room to put all of these things.
Our favorite activity when just you and I are on shift is to get shelving.
Building furniture.
Yeah, and if I come back and have to do an IKEA task, I'm quitting. But the other favorite day is when the Jellycat catalog hits the inbox. That's huge for us.
I think better than that is when the delivery arrives in that packet.
We have 2 boxes waiting for us at the store, by the way.
Jellycat.
Sharp objects do not puncture. That sticker.
One of the things that, I think a lot of independent booksellers do this, and we're all like, we're all a family. But we have a prominent displays and it's read banned books, it says on top, and then it's about 4 shelves tall. And it's like a magnet for the grown-ups who enter our store. I feel like a lot of people just are drawn to it and then they can't understand, like, wait, this is banned? Like they were looking at, E.B. White, Charlotte's Web. Wait, Bridge to Terabithia is banned? And there's like, why? And we're always engaging in these conversations. And in the beginning, I think I was sort of like, because I couldn't even understand. And it was like a rapid education. people might not realize, like a banned book, it could be like in one school district or one community's library. And the sad part is it's so easy to ban a book, and apparently there are directions online on how to do it. Please don't do that. And what it means is read them, open up those covers and see what's inside, because these books are often sort of like, it's like upside down or opposite land, because they embody the spirit of acceptance, something that is accused of something that's the opposite of that. And, you know, with Charlotte's Web, it's because of talking animals, being disrespectful to God, that notion. But, you know, like, I just think that what it is it's a wake up to say, pay attention to your local news, and it's part of why local news matters, right? To know when there's a challenge and to push back on that. Let people choose their books.
Well, I love the conversations that come about between the grown-ups and the children that come into the store. You know,
I love hearing them explain.
And then the kids' reactions to the fact that these books are banned, and their shock and their outrage sometimes too, you know, is pretty amazing.
I do once a week have a kid come up and ask why we banned the book, though.
Yes, that is true.
The conversation comes around quickly, but at first they get really mad at us that we would ban a book.
What are
You
some
talk about
goals,
local
man?
authors.
We do have a lot of great local authors that we love having in store and do school visits. Aaliyah Agostini, Jason Patterson.
Evelyn and I had Laura Marks Fitzgerald read Under the Egg again. She's the author of Under the Egg, and she did a little presentation at our book club, at our middle reader book club. I loved that.
Celebrity visit at the book club. It was huge.
It was awesome.
I also had Jorge Aguirre come for the YA book club. That is now on a little hiatus, but if there's any YA book club interest, I would be willing to start that back up again.
Blueberry and pancakes, like
Yeah,
is that-
Jason Patterson.
And what's really nice is a lot of these local authors who are, I'm a little bit afraid that we mentioned anybody because we can't possibly mention everybody, but they support the local schools, you know, that their kids are attending, and they're so generous with their time. And obviously it's not like free, this is their career, and that's a really important point. But the way they'll come in and they do these like local author visits as part of book fairs is really fun. It's very cool for the kids to realize how possible that dream is. And I just gasped because I was remembering when Philippa Sue
Yes.
and her sister-in-law, they co-authored
Piper Chen sings.
Yeah. And one of the best things about that author visit, that was in our kids' room. It was an after-school event and super well attended. Philippa Sue she's a celebrity. You guys are laughing. But I will say, these two people on that visit, they had, you know, Marist is a child therapist, a social worker.
Yes.
And she had designed the most amazing way for the kids to ask questions, because the first person's question when it was time for the Q&A was, "Can I get your autograph?" And they all just laughed. And then they said, "Well, how about you could ask us questions like," and she listed all of these like incredibly rich questions. And the kids were like, "Oh, yeah." And so then the kids asked all these questions, and it was such an incredible conversation. And just watching the kids in the room be like, wow, like thinking about the process, thinking about the possibilities. And then you had like a really cool one recently, didn't you?
We did author visits at schools as well with Philippa and Maris, and they were lovely. They were sweethearts. They did a breathing exercise with the kids that was emblematic of the like nervous butterflies in the story. And it's really special that part of kids' authors' tours is going directly to schools and watching them. It's fun to be the girl that gives them gum and see them get nervous before a group of kids. But it's always really sweet seeing them connect with their readers. And it's a nice part of the kids' room is often it's a second-hand sell. So we're selling to a parent of a child. But sometimes when the kid gets to come in and, you know, we introduce Princess Diaries or whatever for the first time to them, it's really nice to see them light up and see an opportunity for them to discover something else, and we get to provide that experience. But it's always fun to see really random people come in the store. Last Christmas, Evelyn and I's favorite day was an actual celebrity visit.
It was crazy.
it was amazing.
It was one of the
because
busiest days of December, too.
It was
The
like
store was
December
packed.
23rd, and I'm at the wrapping station, losing my mind, wanting to tape, like, my eyes closed.
And according to Caroline, I was super weird at the register. But
Of course.
two people came up, and this is why. It was Rashida Jones and Ezra Koenig of
And the-
Vampire Weekend.
The best part was when somebody comes in the store, we often ask for your phone number because
Oh,
we have
you're
we have
actually
a loyalty account through people's phone numbers. So she kept asking, do you have an account with us? To Rashida Jones, wanting her phone number. And also, she's like sweetly smiling at Evelyn, like, yes, I'll take a bag. And I hadn't clicked that was Rashida Jones yet. And Evelyn shut down emotionally. And so after I hand this, not my best work, wrapping to this woman, I'm like, that's Rashida Jones.
Yeah.
And we all fall to the floor.
I think we bring this up
afterwards.
just so you can apologize to Rashida Jones for wrapping her children's Christmas presents
I would like
that.
to formally apologize for the way that I taped sleigh bells to that package. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm doing better. There'll be a notes app on my socials later. Apology.
Let's talk about some wrapping. How about some of those puzzles that I buy that you guys have to wrap? And
Aubrey, I want to keep liking you. I don't want to talk about the puzzles you buy.
In the shape of the United States of America, which shouldn't be a real shape.
2 mice on a cupcake?
I don't know. I don't have a problem wrapping them. I don't know what anybody else's problem is.
Okay, as we're wrapping up, do you love that pun?
Yes.
Um,
Nice cycle.
Let's all hold hands.
We really are.
We really are. I just want to say that I love working with each of you, and it's really special that I like everyone I work with, and I feel very held and enjoy every day because I know you guys will be there.
That's really nice. This is why we cry all the time at work.
That's true.
Usually it's from a book.
Well,
No, this is how we end every shift.
Holding hands.
of course.
Crying.
I think the last thing we need to do is talk about, usually we ask what everyone's reading, but I think it would be episode appropriate to talk about what kids' books we might be not reading, but maybe just really into right now.
I'm into a new board book called Moonlight Prance, where all of we're all of the forest animals dance. That's it. It's a slide pull and you can move them, the pieces. It's awesome.
It is awesome.
I had a quick
It's
answer
really
and you're
cute.
gonna laugh at me. This is bullying.
I've been really into I think it's as a picture book in our system, but it's kind of word dense. It's called The Queen in the Cave. It freaked Aubrey out when she first read it. She thought it was really creepy. It's about 3 sisters and they go to find the queen in the cave, and the illustrations in it are just really beautiful, and I think it's one of my special stories, like Little Shrew and A Day with Moose. I just think it's fantastic.
They go to find the queen in the cave.
I'm not trying to give the plot away.
Susie, your favorite?
I'm not going to mention a holiday. I'm going to mention for middle readers, since middle readers are like, well, a lot of middle readers, like there's a lot of fall off in terms of reading. So I'm going to be like encouraging folks who come in for their middle reader this holiday season. I'm going to ask them to pick up a spy book. And maybe it's going to be the Spy School series, which is Stuart Gibbon. They're so much fun. Or maybe it's going to be City Spies, where it's kids from all over the world and they go all over the world. And both of those are series, loads and
You
loads.
should also do Wiz Mob and the Grenadine Kid.
Oh my God,
Colin
such a
Malloy.
good one. You
Yeah.
guys, wait, say that again.
Wiz Mob and the Grenadine Kid. Colin Malloy.
So good.
Okay. Wildwood.
Somebody bought Voyage to Bunny Planet today. I could have waited until after to tell
Oh, I
you, but
love
I
that.
felt like this was
Rosemary Wells.
important.
You need to tell me things like this
Rosemary
on
Wells.
mic. Thank you. It's really important.
There is one small phenomenon, I know we're out of time, but where we don't want to part with a book.
Mm-hmm.
And like that
Yeah.
Bunny Planet is one of those books where you feel like a little piece of you is leaving the store and you're conflicted because you're so glad to share it and at the same time you're going to miss it. And of course we can reorder it, but it's sort of like,
Unless it's our favorite board book.
Bear and Mouse, rest
Bear
in
and
peace.
Mouse.
Is there anything you guys would like to say about Bear and Mouse's passing?
I'm going to miss popping the toast up and then putting the toast back in the toaster and then popping it up again.
I'm sad we never got to experience the nighttime one.
Mm-hmm. There was a waking up, and then there was also a going to bed.
There was an original Going Tonight that was out of print before we can even meet her.
It is sad.
I think that's a really nice, depressing note to add on.
I think that's wonderful.
But it means is buy lots of books now.
Before they all go out of print.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's been fun.
It's so fun.
See you guys on
It's
shift.
always fun.
It's always fun. Fun or funny.
See you guys early tomorrow, every day.
Well, thank you, Aubrey, Caroline, Evelyn, and Susie for joining the podcast today and for all the amazing work you do at the Kids Room. Listeners, you can find all the books and activities they've talked about in our show notes and at watchungbooksellers.com.
We've got a couple more events before the holidays. On Thursday, December 5th, Lisa Rosenberg is back to celebrate the launch of her second novel, Mirror Me.
And on Wednesday, December 11th, the Climate Change Book Club is hosting a virtual event with Dr. Ayanna Johnson, author of What If We Get It Right? You can pick up copies of the book at Watchung Booksellers and submit questions before the event.
You can find out details and register for all of our events in our newsletter, show notes, or at watchungbooksellers.com.
We hope you have a happy Thanksgiving and a wonderful holiday season, and that we see you in the store very soon. We'll be back in January with more episodes of the Watchung Booksellers Podcast. Thanks, everybody.
The Watchung Booksellers Podcast is produced by Catherine Council and Marnie Jessup and is recorded at Silverstream Studio in Montclair, New Jersey. The show is edited by Catherine Council and Brie Testa. Special thanks to Timmy Kaleni and Derek Mathias. Original music is composed and performed by Violet Mujica. Art and design and social media by Evelyn Moulton. Research and show notes by Caroline Shurtleff. Thank you to the staff at Watchung Booksellers and the Kids Room for all their hard work and love of books.
And thank you for listening. If you enjoy the show, please like, follow, and share it. You can follow us on social media at Watchung Booksellers, and if you have any questions or ideas, you can reach us at wbpodcast@watchungbooksellers.com.
We'll see you next time. Until then, for the love of books, keep reading.